Afternoon, everyone. Along with Andrew Pinkerton and Heather Houck, I'd like to welcome you to the second in our series of social media presentations. I'm Dominic DeCenzo, the Executive Director of the Connecticut Concrete Promotion Council, and along with Heather Smith of the Michigan Concrete Association, I co-chair the NRMCA's Social Media Task Force. Back in the fall of 2020, the Social Media Task Force was created by the NRMCA's Greg Lewis, who's the Executive Vice President of Strategy, Promotion, and Communications. Greg's and the NRMCA's goal was to specifically provide tools and resources to help ready-mix suppliers learn how to use social media to promote their businesses. This webinar series represents more than a year and a half's worth of work by a very talented group of social media managers and marketing professionals comprised of NRMCA personnel, NRMCA producer members, state and provincial ready-mix concrete associations, cement producers, and even allied service and product providers across the United States and Canada. This is just the beginning, really. This April and May, we are presenting beginner-level presentations, the how to get started, if you will, on various social media platforms. The goal of our task force is also to create advanced, intermediate, and advanced level presentations to help you manage social media campaigns as part of your marketing efforts. Please know that we are here as a resource and welcome your questions. Today's webinar is one that's very near and dear to me. If you're on LinkedIn, our presentation is how and when to use LinkedIn, and our presenter is Andrew Pinkerton. Andrew is the Director of Marketing, Communications, and Public Affairs for U.S. Concrete and is based in Texas. Andrew is also what I would call a charter member of the NRMCA Social Media Task Force, having been part of the team since 2020 when we convened the group. Andrew worked along with Stephanie Salser of Lafarge Wholesome and other task force members to create this presentation. I think you'll find it quite informative, and please feel free to ask any questions in the Q&A section. We'll be happy to answer them as we go along. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to Andrew to get started.
Thanks, Dom. Big thanks to Stephanie Sulzer and then also Mary Parker of the social media team of helping put this together. Welcome, everybody. Before I get into this, I just want to say that throughout the presentation, I'll have certain links and things that you can find some more information about, and we're going to put those links in the chat area with help from Heather. And so I will get into that now. So getting started with LinkedIn. Again, I'm Andrew Pinkerton with U.S. Concrete, a business unit of Vulcan Materials. I invite you all to follow Vulcan on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. What LinkedIn is really our social media for the business world. It started as a site for professionals to go and do some online networking, look for jobs, put themselves out there, hopefully advance their careers. They slowly kind of got into having message boards or group chat areas for people to share their experiences or talk more about what they, what they're in business for. It's really ramped up quite a bit and has become a lot more than just that. It is a social media platform for the business community, way beyond networking and finding jobs. It's about promoting companies, promoting yourself, being thought leaders, and it really has become a powerhouse. The way they did that was they encourage you when you sign up, and hopefully you all have signed up or will after this, they encourage you to upload your contacts and send out a message to everybody saying, please join my network. And they were very successful at that. They did a great job, as you can see by the numbers. They're adding people by the second, and they've already got a huge platform. And so now we're going to get into how to use that and be successful at it. first and foremost, one of the things that gives it the credibility is the people that are there. The decision makers are on here, but also you're going to find that your employees are on here, and more we're finding non-computer using employees are joining more and more from home. I get friend requests quite a bit from drivers and mechanics and a lot of folks in our organization that don't sit behind a desk every day, and that's really refreshing to see that they want to get involved in this platform, and it probably means that they're trying to advance their careers, and that's really great for everybody. You'll see if you look up statistics on the LinkedIn users that that the demographics of leadership, it fills a lot of those users. But also, if you're trying to drive business through LinkedIn, it's a great mechanism for that because of the high earners that are there. The success of the people that are using this platform really makes it the place for business. Now, to start very basic, you have to create an account. You also have to set up a company page on LinkedIn. Now, it's very important if you're just getting started to know the difference between these, and there's a lot of great resources online through LinkedIn, on YouTube, or other online video resources to get you started. So we're not going to go through all of that today, because I'm guessing if you were able to make it on to GoToWebinar, you've probably been able to set up your LinkedIn account. It's very intuitive, but it is very important to point out that you need to set up a personal account for yourself and set up your company account as a company page. You don't want to set up your company as a person. LinkedIn has a lot of great resources, very easy resources to access for setting up your company and being successful at it. And so these are two videos that we have here of creating an account. Like I said, it's very intuitive and easy to do, and then also how to transform your page and do more with it. A lot of the videos out there will get into e-commerce and selling socially, which in our industry doesn't really apply to most of us, but there's a lot of great tips on getting the most out of your page and setting up your company page. And of course, the golden rules for LinkedIn: keep it professional. It is a very professional site, but most of us throughout our corporate communications for our companies, I recommend always keeping it professional, whether it's on your website, at a trade show, press releases. It's just the way we do things. Always avoid controversial topics. LinkedIn is certainly a place to be more straightforward and proper about your corporate communications than, say, Instagram or TikTok or some of the others. And then, of course, number 3, people are always listening. Think of that golden rule, but that's a good thing because you can get your information out there very easily. Again, on the platform etiquette, who you're going to be communicating with are those professionals, and it's very important to keep it like that. Now, I recommend, and I'll talk about this throughout the presentation, of cross collaboration between your other social platforms and using your corporate communications as a basis for your development of the content that goes into LinkedIn. And so most likely you're going to have it very in line with what the platform etiquette calls for. But as a resource, we'll have an article here from LinkedIn of the do's and don'ts for LinkedIn for you to peruse and help define your content specifically. Now, this is the most important thing when it comes to corporate communications in general, but also social planning. If you're only going to be using LinkedIn, please adhere to this, but I also recommend for all of your content throughout the year, always be thinking ahead. Most likely you've set out what your core values are for your company, you've created a mission statement, a vision statement, and really this is what you can start your communication plan for social media. In our industry, safety is always first. It's important to build that culture, and so that's an easy topic just to hit on first. What are your safety protocols? What are your safety successes? Praise your people, praise your plants, and do what you can to start that process. If safety isn't very strong, this is a good opportunity to start doing that. It's not going to change your culture overnight, but at least it'll help you attract those people that are safety minded and want to work for a company that is safe. But also you can promote your company culture, your awards. These are great sites for hiring, for promoting your open positions. But it really comes down to, what do you want to communicate about your company? I strongly encourage that executive leadership or someone at the highest level has input in this. Get the information out that you want to about your company, and it makes the content development so much easier to do when you have the input from the highest levels. And I also recommend, don't just stick the youngest person in your organization on the social media or head of your social media just because they are technologically savvy and you think that they can do this. It takes some great content development. It takes a little bit of savvy, but it also takes someone who can go to the highest levels of the organization and communicate about what's going on online and what you want to communicate online. Timely versus evergreen on content. If you're putting out press releases, that's very timely. If you are involved as a social warrior, if your company is involved in ESG, a lot of that information is very timely content. And then there's evergreen content, stuff that is timeless, that you want to talk about your company, the history, your safety programs, your ideals, something that doesn't need to be right here, right now, and it might not need to expire. Some of your timely content may need to expire if you're offering special deals at trade shows that you don't want someone to call you in 6 months and say, hey, I saw this thing on LinkedIn that you're offering 10% off. You can take certain things down. Other things, you want people to search your company and have these types of things pop up. Case studies, important lab work that you're doing, great honors that you've gotten for projects or your safety awards like we've talked about earlier. Now, when it comes to content, it's great to have a plan it out, a month in advance. One of the things that you don't want to get caught up in doing is spending tons of time on social media or have your people spending a lot of time on social media, because it really can be a time waste. And if done correctly, you can plan it all out well ahead in advance and not have to spend or be confident that your people aren't spending too much time on social media. And so there are great automated tools that during the planning, you can set out a content calendar for the month, for the quarters, for the year, and use these tools to push that information out when you want it. It's very important to post in a timely fashion on social media. They have algorithms in place that take into account all the activity that you're doing, and they help get your information out there as best or as least as they see fit. And so these tools that we have listed here aren't free, except for the last one, the spreadsheets. But what the spreadsheet doesn't do is help you post and do the work for you. Hootsuite, Octopost, all these companies have free trials, and they may even have a free version that will give you limited ability to do some of the stuff that I'm talking about. But I highly encourage a automated tool so that you're not constantly on there every day trying to post something, or your people are. And with those automated tools, some of them give you some design capabilities and some feedback capabilities or tracking mechanisms. One of the key parts about social media is monitoring and knowing what's being said about your company. If you're putting something out there, rest assured someone's going to comment on it. That's great. You want people to comment on it. But as we all know, sometimes people can make negative comments, or someone may not have your best interest at heart and come after you with some negative comments or sharing your stuff in a bad fashion. And so there are other tools that can help monitor those things, and again, keep you from constantly being on there to try to watch this stuff. Google Alerts is a free tool that can help you with that. It will go far beyond just LinkedIn and social media. It will alert you to anytime your name is mentioned in the media or online, or if you want to keep track of competitors or certain publications, industry publications, or otherwise, you'll get alerts, and you can set those up for only to come in the morning or every hour or on the spot. Again, it's just up to you and how much time you want to have someone committed to this. There are other tools that can help you not only design the content, but also some of these will help you, like on those previous tools, automate when you're putting it out there. Unsplash uses a lot of things that, or gives you the capability of getting a lot of professional looking assets that you would normally have to send somebody out to develop. Canva is a great website for developing some of those things as well. And then if you have a graphic designer on your staff, or really want to get or elevate your content even more, the Adobe suite of products, including Photoshop, which most of you are probably very familiar with, is a great tool for doing this. Putting information out online and publishing content on social media and LinkedIn specifically, the better it looks, the more engagement you'll get. The more interesting it is, the more engagement you'll get. But just putting text out there isn't going to do what you want it to do. I recommend using video when you can, but a nice quality picture graphic will oftentimes get you the most content. You can create a specific look and feel that will keep people coming back. Consistency is key when it comes to this content. You've heard of hashtags. Well, beyond the hashtag, these social media platforms use algorithms. We'll get into that a little bit later. But there's a lot of things that you can do, and we'll get into more of those as we put more of these webinars out and get into more advanced ways of using this, of getting your information out there. But first and foremost, have a plan, get it together, and be communicating the things that are important to your company and represent your company the best. One of the best things that can be about for the company is your employees. Now, internal communications, different than corporate communications, is very important to have great content, but also your employees can be your biggest advocates in social media. One, they're proud of the company that they work for. They want to help publish the information that is out there so that their friends and colleagues can see the kind of company that they work for and the things that they're proud of. And in turn, it helps promote the things that you've done for your company. But it also enforces the internal communication piece that you may have. If you're trying to drive specific content about safety, about morale, about what your culture is, this is another outlet that you can utilize for that. And in turn, your employees will be your biggest fans and help promote that. Now, LinkedIn specifically has some great abilities to, when you post, alert your employees to when you do that. So then they will immediately be on board with when you're posting things and how to reshare it. Yeah, I think I hit on everything you need to with the employees there. And here at the end, keep keep things simple. You don't have to get too involved in the algorithms or too involved in your hashtags. Those are certainly advanced ways of promoting your business and your company online. But if you're just getting started, I really recommend getting a good plan together on what your key communication pieces are, plan it accordingly, and then as you see things grow and you want to continue to do that, start looking for other resources from us about more advanced ways of using social media and LinkedIn specifically, and you'll be able to do that. You can contact anybody on the social media task force, and specifically those of us that worked on the LinkedIn piece, for any more tips or tricks, or just if you need more help in setting things up. I recommend using any of the links that we provided in the chat. They are great resources from LinkedIn, from NRMCA, and some other folks that we found information from to help you along your journey. That's the end of the presentation. I'd like to open it up for any kind of questions or comments that we have from the group.
Do we have any questions here? No. I'm gonna just take a moment here, kind of ad lib. We do have a link, and actually, let me put it into the chat. We do have a link. The NRMCA has a. There we go. Just put that in there. I just sent it. We do have a graphic library. We also have a social media starter kit. And if you go to this web address that I just put into the chat, nrmca.org members/social media graphics library, that's a pretty good tool. There's a little kit to get you started. There's actually a couple of pre-written social media posts as well. One other thing, I really like LinkedIn, and I use it a lot. And if for those that follow me know that I try to do a lot of regular posts. I try to also incorporate a little bit of humor on, and also a lot of informational posts about concrete. One thing I can probably just reinforce is set up a schedule, as Andrew said, set up a schedule and stick to it and post and begin to put. And once you start posting, I mean, it just starts snowballing and you build momentum. Years ago, when I got on LinkedIn, I started social media posts, and maybe 10 people reacted to it. That 10 became hundreds. The hundreds became thousands. In some instances, I have 10,000 reactions. And again, we're in a very limited industry compared. We're not like Taylor Swift or Kim Kardashian, where they do one social post and get 2 million reactions to it. So for us in the concrete industry, any interaction or any reaction to our posts is a win. And I can honestly say, at this point, some posts that I do, I get over 10,000 views and thousands of reactions to it. I had one video where it was actually content from one of the ready mix suppliers in Louisiana, and the video just went crazy, and we had over 100,000 views of a video on social media about handling fresh concrete. So so anything is possible. Heather, let's take a look. Do we have any questions from anyone? No, we don't. I did want to encourage everyone. We're here as a task force. Please contact us if you need help, maybe in starting up a page. If you need help, contact us. I really want to thank Andrew for his presentation. I thought that was great, Andrew. And I want to remind people 3 things. Please complete your exit survey as you leave the webinar. Your feedback is really kind of essential to tailoring future content that we're going to create. Again, reinforcing, feel free to contact us, email us, call us. We'll help you walk through starting up a page or an account. I also want to remind everyone of the additional social media platform schedules. Every one of them starts at 12 noon. April 26th is when and how to use Instagram. May 10th is when and how to use Twitter. I think I'm doing that one. And May 24th is TikTok, when and how to use TikTok. All of these webinars will be made available on demand. You can come back and view them on the NRMCA YouTube channel. And if we post them on the NRMCA website, we'll also send you an email notification. And finally, if you do set up a LinkedIn account or already have one and you don't use it, perhaps you don't use it very much, please feel free to connect with us, because as you connect, then you build more connections and it just snowballs. I want to thank Andrew for presenting today, and also Heather Houck for quarterbacking in the background here. If no one has any questions, I'm just going to wish everyone a good afternoon. If you don't have that page, go create it and link with us, okay? On LinkedIn. It's a great platform. Andrew, do you have anything final to say?
No, I just want to reiterate, like you said, have a plan. Know why you're doing this. When it comes to any of these social outlets, just know why you're doing it, and that will help create your plan. If you know what you're trying to achieve, set some goals and just take it one step at a time. It's certainly not overwhelming.
Thank you. Hey, everybody.